Meta Perspective Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to Meta Perspective Podcast. We're your hosts, Alex,
Evan,
and the girl. Today we have a special guest with us. His name is Joe Horn. If you'd like to tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I've been a mechanic for 20 years. Single family man, just trying to make my day through. Been a good friend of these guys for a long time.
A really long time, actually. We're talking decades, close to my span of life.
But if you are joining us for the first time, please give the channel a follow. Sometimes we do random giveaways like that. We got the chat up here. Sometimes we have a live call line. It doesn't hurt to stay active.
Because obviously, Meta Perspective Podcast isn't meta
Without your perspective.
Boom. Today's topic, what are we looking at, buddy?
We're looking at the social aspects of politics. Something that we've all been kind of probably dealing with over the last 10 years, pretty much since Trump.
Yeah, I feel like this affects most people.
It affects everybody.
It doesn't matter if you're on the left or the right. You got somebody from the other side who disagrees with you. I think that's the idea, right?
Yeah, and I think that's probably the most driving, the most wedge driving force between people socially now is the political, atmosphere or taking sides. People are talking about civil war, things like that, and we can all disagree on the political positions or this and that, but tonight we're going to be talking about how it really affects our individual lives and our friendships, family members, relationships, things like that.
I mean, it could even affect your work.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It can affect you monetarily. It can affect your career. That's a great point. And I think the things like that, things like politics affecting your work, have dialed down a little bit. I think from around the time of maybe COVID until about within the past year, there was a very nervous atmosphere for what you could say or what you could your politics on display. It's kind of like, there's a social aspect to all this, and that's kind of what we're discussing. It's like there's two sides, and not being able to bridge that gap is really the problem. It's not that we hate each other. It's just like we hate ideas that, it's outside of our own.
I think we can all get on board with agreeing that we all hate evil. I know it sounds like a silly thing to say, but we hate evil. So something, you're walking in the car at night, you're in the parking lot, and you're like, this shit's creepy, it's dark, you get that creepy feel. But if then you saw somebody getting jumped in the parking lot, it changes. Suddenly, it's not like I'm fearful. Somebody else is getting beat up. I could leave. But something in you would say no. Something in you would say help the person, because that's what I would want. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot of right now is you see somebody posts an idea online and they get attacked for it. And while none of us really understand the complexities of what's going on in the world, we're willing to cut each other out and attack each other publicly for things that we tell ourselves we are fully aware of. And that's more my issue.
The heat has been ratcheted up, like beyond where I thought it would be. And it's maybe starting to level out now. But I've lost friends. I've got family members that we disagree on, and the way I've always seen it is that you should be able to have a discussion, and my ideas aren't my identity, so it's not. I'm not in a position where I'm going to write somebody off if they disagree with me, but a lot of people are in that position.
Yeah.
Where they would definitely. It's almost a mischaracterization, or it's a groupthink kind of mentality where. A lot of people that supported Trump or are conservative have been kind of roped into this camp of, like the classic Hillary Clinton deplorables,
Yeah.
or like, the MAGA extremist, alt-right, white supremacists. It's all labels that have been kind of pushed out there, and it really stops the discussion of actual government policies, things that matter, things that help us all. So the focus has shifted to a lot of these social issues, and I think it comes down to kind of a moral quandary of I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm not morally thinking of all these things, but it's like there's certain things that the government does that it's designed to do, and it's not glamorous, like budgets and allocations of funds and all this stuff. That nobody talks about that. We all talk about these social issues, and it's become a culture war. So, like, which side of the culture war are you on? And that's kind of what it's become. In a summary, that's basically why everyone hates each other.
From my perspective, I don't personally think, like, even if you're left or right, we're still not going to always agree. Like, let's say, I'm pro-Trump or I'm pro-Kamala. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to always agree with every single thing that they come out or what their ideals or their morals are. I don't 100% agree with whoever I'm going for. I can agree 60% of what his ideals are. But just because I'm 60% towards that guy and I'm 40% towards the other person, I'm considered a bad person, or I get a bunch of different names. Like, I can say I've had a woman come into my shop and she had a Biden sticker on it. I didn't care. Whoop-de-doo. She came in for a simple oil change, tire rotation. She was 20,000 miles past her 75,000 mile recommendations. So I recommended them. She thought I was ripping her off because she was for Kamala and Biden. And I'm like, why are you accusing me of being to the right? She was like, well, it's just the way you act. And I'm just like, I'm trying to do what's best for your car. Trying to keep you safe on this road.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how that can affect my work and my business if you're just going to then she went online and put a review on Google saying this business is a fascist, racist.
What?
Oh, dude, she did.
Oh my God.
We had to having to like contact Google on it and to have that comment removed because we're like, we are a business trying to make sure these people are safe on these roads, and people are accusing us of these allegations that are obviously falsified. It's just because
Or has nothing to do with cars.
Exactly. But then she came back a couple weeks later wanting to get that service done, but she didn't want to pay for it because she thought that she was being called out. And we're like, yeah, sorry, we're not going to do that service for free. I got to be able to pay my techs to be able to do these jobs on your car. If we don't charge, we are completely a loss of coolant or transmission fluid, or they were just simple recommendations.
Material cost.
Exactly. I'm like, your car has 90,000 miles and it's never had a transmission flush or a coolant flush. And then you're going to come back to us during this wintertime going, why is your car overheating during the wintertime? Coolant goes bad. Transmission.
Because you're fascist.
Exactly. Or I'm racist, or, I'm so against the other side, I want to screw this side.
Which is funny because back in the day, if that were the case, then you don't say shit about it because you understand the circumstances. But when you're like, I understand the circumstances, I demand this, and you have no repercussions for calling it out, I'm just saying. In Nazi Germany, if you call out what they're doing, they probably wouldn't be so open-minded. They wouldn't contact Google. They wouldn't try to work it out and sort it out. It would be
you
like,
end up in
we're
a
going to
gul-
shoot you.
The gulag.
Yeah, it would like the extremist view that's been consolidated into each situation you're in, where it's like, this right here is a reflection of what I hate. Therefore, I need to just explode on it. I need to react. It's like, if it were that bad, if it were really like that, you wouldn't have the ability to react. Like, it's that simple. It would be like, this is what you have to do. If you disagree with certain terms, you can talk to that. But I mean, I think it's absolutely crazy how from one experience you could categorize an entire business under one umbrella. And that's kind of what this is about, is how a lot of people are just grouping such large numbers of people into one group, while we're all unique. We're all different. You know, you could have 50 Trump people and 50 Kamala people. I mean, none of them, if you personally talk to each one, you will find no common ground with any of them. You might have like general agreeances, but you are not going to find somebody who's like 100% I stand with what you stand for. Why? Because your common ground is different from everybody else's. It's not that common, you know, at least not nowadays.
Well, I think the problem now is that, you know, a disagreement is one thing. You know, you could have a discussion about which ideas are better, or and try to make an informed decision on that. But now it's not that anymore. It's total write off, like just assume everything about a person, and it's getting way worse too. It's like,
it's dehumanizing.
yeah. It's not even opening the discussion. It's not even. There's no opportunity for an alternative view or even perspective or even a neutral. There was no perspective or anything here to begin with. It's just an assumption. Like, kind of in the example that you're giving, that's a perfect example, because like, you probably didn't say anything. You didn't provoke this person. And it's just like they assumed everything about you, and then now in their head, they hate you because their car is shitty or something.
Because they put a sticker on their car. They're like, this is why you're doing this? How do you know I don't agree with your sticker? This is your car. Like, I don't care. You don't know if I'm on your side or not. You have a sticker on your car. That has nothing to do with the issue I just told you is a problem. If I'm voting for that same person, well, you still have the same problem. It's not going to fix your battery. It's not going to fix your timing belt.
Yeah, it's not like you scratch the sticker off or something. And I feel like most people, like, I feel like there's a silent majority of people out there who are just normal people who are kind of tired of this shit. I mean, I know I'm tired.
I mean, Alex has witnessed some of the harassment I've gotten online.
That's partially how we reconnected. Was I saw somebody post something ridiculous online, and I was like, and I just clicked on it to see, and then I saw him in there, and he made a very valid point, and there was no logic responded to it, just like hate, anger, and like, oh, you think this, or what about this? It's like, you don't take my example and try to give me hypotheticals. You respond to my example. You said this, and I'm telling you you're wrong because of this. Oh, so your example that you're telling me I'm wrong with, so then you believe this. No, you don't take my example and make a hypothesis off of that. You don't make assumptions off of that. What you do is you take my example and you apply it to the original idea that I'm responding to. If I say, hey, you could kill somebody by shooting them with a gun, and I said, no, or I said, oh, so you think, no. What I'm saying is right. You can explain how I'm wrong, but you don't go off onto another tangent. You tell me, no, you can't kill somebody with a gun because bullets don't work. Well, that's a good argument. But, however, bullets do work, so it's a bad argument. My point being that if you say this is how policy should be, and I say, well, I disagree, I think that would create more problems. You don't say, so bullets don't work. Like, no, you're not hearing me. What I'm saying is this will cause more problems. What I'm saying is you think I'm the danger. You think people with, for example, you think people with guns are the danger. I'm saying that the person telling us that we shouldn't have them is the danger. Oh, so you think this? No, I simply, my only argument, the only one I will ever stand by and ever argue is one argument. I only have one argument, and that's we need guns to protect us from outside sources. Oh, so you think, nope, I don't think. I'm not going on. I think we need guns to protect ourselves. That's the point of the Constitution. I think there's plenty of countries that want to hurt us. 9/11. I don't know what other examples I need what other examples I need for us to all agree that we should be able to protect ourselves.
Right.
So if we
Talking
want to
about
go
protection from tyranny.
So if we want to go into this, can we go into this conversation from the point of we should be protected? How do we do this? It's nope. It is my argument is the problem. That me thinking that we should be able to protect ourselves with a gun is the problem. And that's a lot of the issues is, again, it wasn't like this back in the day. 30 years ago, Democrats were very for weapons.
It wasn't like this 10 years,
Yeah,
10 years
ago. Yeah. But it's gotten to a point where it's like it's almost an entire side of people have said we should not be able to defend ourselves because I don't want to shoot a gun. And it's like, that's fine. You can call the police and hope they get there on time. But some people don't trust response time and want to be able to protect themselves. If he runs up with a knife, should you not be able to have a knife to protect yourself?
Well, that
Like at what point does my argument become valid? And that's kind of the idea I see on social media is this whole thing of, it's kind of one way of guns are a problem. We need to just create legislation. It's like, well, if we get rid of guns, what's next? What I want to say is it really comes down to extremist solutions to issues that have been around forever. We've always had guns in this country. To me, an extremist view would be, let's get rid of guns. That would be extremist. But I'm an extremist if I say, well, people should still be able to protect themselves. Something that's been around in the country since the beginning.
Well, I mean, you saw that with the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. It's, like you watch the footage, if you follow the trial, it's like he really was attacked.
He stopped a gas station from being set on fire by a flaming dumpster that they were pushing into the center of the station. And he was chased down by a guy with a chain.
But one of the guys had a gun as well.
Yeah.
And chased down by 3 people. Yeah,
I mean,
he was
a chain
carrying
by itself. Like, this is what drives me crazy. There's no common sense. He has a fucking assault rifle. Grab a chain and chase him. No, I won't do that. He has an assault rifle.
Right.
Like if he starts hurting people, maybe the Holy Spirit will captivate me and I'll risk my life and run and try to stop the killer. But right now, he's not killing somebody. He just has a gun. Should I chase him with a chain?
It's like someone with a long sword and 3 guys with daggers are like, let's get him. He's got a long sword.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you expect is going to happen?
What did he do with it?
He's
holding it.
You put him in a position where he has to kill you now. And that's
why did this guy show up with the long sword? To kill people? Well, we should prove it by giving him a reason. Again, it doesn't matter. I've heard the arguments of like, well, he was there specifically to react. It's like, so why are we giving him reasons? Why are we not smart enough to acknowledge, hey, there's a guy here with an assault rifle. We'll do our thing and just not acknowledge him. Instead, no. Let's all go after him. Why is me carrying around my personal legal weapon? Why does that? Why would that even make me a target?
Trigger aggression. Yeah.
If anything, it should trigger fear. Like, hey, this guy, he's legally able to carry this assault rifle. Let's just not fuck with him. Instead, it's legally he can have this, so we will chase him with chains. He will give us multiple warnings, and dude, there was so much shit with that case. The dude like just beat his girlfriend after getting out. He got out of an insane asylum that day.
I know.
Went
There's a
to
lot
his
of
girlfriend's
things to
house,
that.
beat the shit out of her, tried to take the kid, was unsuccessful, and then ended up at this rally where he was killed. All in one day.
Still had a hospital band on us.
Yeah, all in one day. And everybody's like, hey, isn't it fucked up that the guy who was carrying a legal weapon took out a psychopath who was just released, who had just battered somebody, and was chasing him, trying to hurt him? It's like, no, that sounds like what it's for.
I think what's kind of going on the under level is you have every single issue, whether it's, you know, in this example, gun ownership or immigration or, you know, just foreign policy, Israel, all these things. It's every position has a counterpoint, and then these things are not cut and dry. Like, there's a reason why they're big issues. It's because there's debatable sides. There's points to each position, and I think what's happening is, you know, take any of the situations. Kyle Rittenhouse, for example. You know, it's like there are people that will push the side of he shouldn't have been there with an assault rifle, or we shouldn't have assault rifles to begin with. So you can't have a conversation about what's your right to defend yourself in this situation where we're getting chased down by three people, and all of a sudden the conversation is hijacked by people that don't think you should have that assault rifle in the first place. So it cuts off the discussion, and it basically creates a situation where you're basically going back and forth. There's tangents to every single side, and then no one can find a common ground because we're so focused on the glitter and the fringes of whatever is being discussed that no one can actually. I mean, you know, like I said, there's no necessarily right answer.
No, well,
But we
the
can't
algorithms.
get to the right answer because it's so bogged down with all this other fluff.
Plus the algorithms where you're only hearing your side while the other side is only hearing theirs. You know, so nobody ever really has the counterpoint. It's always, this is my point, and I'm seeing algorithms of your point. It's like, but you're not seeing my point. You're hearing reactions to my point. And that's not even my point.
Well, it's because they closed out their mind. They do not want to hear people's other points.
That kicked in quick. That'll be my one and only.
So it's just because people decided not to be open-minded no more. They do not want to hear both sides of the story. They just want to stick to their own side, which I think is wrong. It's like, think about it, like, let's say you're your own personal judge, and you have to listen to the defendant. You have to listen to, you know, the person that's prosecuting.
Yeah.
So if you decided, like, if you just got your own mentality, be like, okay, I need to hear both sides of the story so I can figure out, you know, exactly what happened or what's going on. I need to hear all the facts. I need to hear I need to see all the truths. I need to see all the evidence. I need to see this. Then if people would just open up their minds that way a little bit more, then I think a lot more common grounds, common sense, you know, just everybody's algorithms to certain things will start to align a lot better.
Yeah.
I think people will start to understand each other a lot more than that, because if you're not going to want to be an open mind, it's like being in the dating pool, trying to date somebody. You know, you'll see one guy, he's trying his absolute best to understand the person that he is dating, while the other person is like so simple-minded that he or she is not asking questions about the other person. She's like, he or she is like, I just want him to know me, or I want her to know me only. it's it's so closed-minded.
Yeah.
And if you think about being closed-minded all the time, I mean, that's all in all the topics, if you think about it. I mean, let's say gaming. People have their own style of gaming. People have their own style of cars they want to own or drive. And don't get me on that topic. But everybody has their own style of wanting to do things. But if you would just open your mind a little bit more and to understand certain situations, certain prospects, it could change your entire perspective on things.
That's actually, that's a really good point that I want to bring up and expand on, is that, you kind of talked about the idea of like the echo chamber. It's like everybody sticks to the information that they're getting from their side because that's the stuff they agree with, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's social media and stuff like that. Like you're going to get more, liberal stuff if you're a liberal. You're going to get more conservative stuff if you're conservative. That's the algorithms.
Well, your eye is only going to look at that one single comment that person said,
right?
And then it's going to be stuck in your head, and you're like, I'm going to use that because I believe that happened, or this and that. Okay, well, did you ever fact check it?
Right, and that's kind of thing. It's like, with that in your mind, as any individual, it's like, I have all these people in my, social or online circle that validate my belief. So then, if somebody presents you with a fact, I would rather disagree with that fact based on all these people telling me that it's wrong than go and look that up. Mm-hmm. Or like actually try to, because, this it comes down to this, I'm not like a hardcore conservative, but I have become more of a conservative through all this. And my sister's not, she's liberal. So, we'll have discussions and I'll send her things and she'll send me things. I watch everything she sends me. She hasn't watched a single thing that I sent her.
Oh, that's a wild issue I have too.
Because there's so much like facts and statistics, they go out the window when the social aspect of an argument or a disagreement are present. Because you would rather ignore somebody than one, admit that you're wrong, and two, challenge your own belief.
Oh, see, I have a sister the same way. She is against Trump all the way. See, she has a husband and he works for the Social Security office. Well, right now, he is being forced to work without being paid.
Oh.
Because of the government shutdown.
Right.
Now, she is like blaming Trump for all of this. And I'd be like, how is this Trump's fault? This is our capital's fault because our government shut down. And she was like, well, Trump shut it down. I'm like, no, Trump didn't shut it down. Did you even like understand how this even works? It got to a point where like me and my sister don't even like talk to each other anymore. So I don't even get to see my niece or my nephews. I don't get to see anybody because she'd rather close everybody off that doesn't agree with her. I'm like, we're supposed to be family.
Right.
It's basically become anarchy.
And then that's
where it's like what we need to do is just destroy everything, let it all fall apart, let all of our jobs and lives and everything that we are comfortable with, everything that makes us happy, let's let it all fall apart and crumble and collapse, and then we can rebuild it. So when you come and you say, hey, I have a solution, they don't want a solution, they want collapse. I mean, it's what I think it is it all comes down to like a bad storm. None of us really want a severe storm to hit us. But when it's coming, there's that excitement, right? Of like, oh, I've never seen a big storm. It's about to hit. Like we're gonna weather this, Whoa. And I feel like that's kind of the same idea. It's like we've all been so comfortable that there is a large group of people who want to stir the pot, who are like, something's wrong with it being uncomfortable. Again, if you have issues, unresolved trauma, things like that you haven't dealt with, it's easy to say, well, I want to see everything else burn.
Well,
you know,
that's kind of what Joe's
misery
talking
loves
about.
company.
Where it's like, I mean, this is the discussion. It's like real people's lives are being upended from this shit. Like you and me and all of our sisters, we don't have the same connection anymore. It's not because of me. It's because of somebody else and some other it's politics I had nothing to do with. So it's like, I'm not the one exporting immigrants or something. Like, you're mad at me because somebody else I have no control of, and the government does that. So that is ruining lives, and I think that's what everybody's dealing with. That.
But that's what I'm saying is misery loves company, though. If on one hand it's like, yes, uprooting these lives and all that, it's terrible, but that is reshaping. Why are they not for the reshaping of that? If I say we're going to bring in, 2 million random people from all over the world, they're just going to come in here, you would be against it. So when I say we're going to get them out, why are you against that? It's the idea of the mentality shift, because especially with the left, the left was big with deportation, big. And then now all of a sudden the right's getting into deportation, and it's like now it's Nazi.
Didn't Obama have the largest deportation
He was
records?
deporter in chief. That is what he was known as deporter in chief.
Like, he
he
has
deported
the
that
highest.
many people.
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers, but
It was
I
like
know
4
at least
million from Obama.
within the past year, like maybe take 2 months ago, if you took Obama in his first term, the first 6 months versus Trump's first, second term, 6 months, Obama deported more people.
And that's Trump's second term.
Maybe the numbers are being, maybe Trump's like ultra deporting now. I don't know that
Well,
for
it's
sure.
because he's prioritizing like the biggest criminals.
Right, because
first.
we had millions of people, totally open border for 4 years.
But it's still giving the opportunity for all the other illegals that haven't committed any serious crime to actually get their citizenships before they would get deported.
Right.
They still have that opportunity.
Yeah.
I will say, though, the argument for the left, because I talked to a little bit of everybody, the big argument for the left, the belief, 100%, the 100% belief that they are being told from the media, which, again, everything is algorithms. I had to talk to him about this, too, and he did agree with me on this, is that our algorithms are feeding us different information. So the information that the left is getting fed is that Trump is deporting a good number of U.S. citizens. That is the difference in the algorithm. So while my algorithm has not shown me that, and I have never seen or heard anything of that, they have.
That doesn't make sense.
I know,
Well, that's yours.
but that's the idea. They're going to say it doesn't
But
make
where would
sense.
you deport them to? The U.S.? You're talking about legal. You're talking about legal immigrants.
Legal immigrants.
Yeah.
So the idea that I'm being told by the left is that their algorithms are feeding them information that we are sending legal immigrants back to their countries.
Well, so this is one thing that
That ICE,
quick-
the overall argument of the left is that ICE is actually the first step of the Nazi regime. That they are actually rounding up who they want, and we don't really fully understand what's going on with the people being rounded up, and that's the idea of Nazi Germany is they go after the first group, which would be the immigrants, and everybody's okay with it until it gets to the end where you're like, oh, me too?
So it would be different. Okay, to paint that picture, let's say that Germany for 4 years imported, 10 million Jews, and then the next 4 years they, deported or / executed 5 million. It's like that's a don't draw any conclusions from this. This is just
That's
simply
Holocaust.
It's like it's if you're gonna when it comes down to the social conversation around this issue, if you're gonna have unresponsible level or irresponsible level of immigration to this country, totally open border, everyone's locked down, but these people coming across the border, you're not even testing them at all. They're not required to do anything. It's like everyone's locked down. All these people are coming in for 4 years. That's an extreme immigration policy. Now, 4 years later, you're deporting a lot of those people that came, and that is seen as an extreme, immigration policy, but it's a response to what happened before. So the conversation never was about, it's always about, oh, these people are getting kicked out, blah, 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 their families and kids and all that. But like, where were you on this issue 4 years ago when it was an irresponsible level of immigration? Didn't you have the foresight to know that this would cause problems? Weren't people saying it at the time? This is causing problems. This is going to cause problems in the future. And no response, no acknowledgement at all.
And now,
So
and
now
honestly,
you're
I
all
would
pissed
say-
about it, but
I would
it's
say
like,
that's one of the biggest issues is most of the stuff that the right most of the stuff that I've seen left and right, when I see the right bring stuff up, especially when it comes to immigration, it's racist, it's all this stuff. But when it first started, it was bring them over. Even while the argument was, hey, this is going to hurt us. They're illegal. We're not bringing people in legally. We're letting them in illegally. The big difference in that is taxes and
healthcare. And that's
Healthcare.
why the
There's-
government shut down.
there's a lot of issues that come along with that. And, well, back in the day, when I was a hardcore Democrat, it's like these were serious issues. These people are not paying taxes like I am. They're in my country. They're making, they might get a job similar to me, making about the same money as me. But they don't pay taxes. Why are they now making more than me?
At least 25% more.
Yeah, because my taxes are getting taken out and theirs aren't. So they're making more money than me, and they didn't have to go through all the legal stuff. I mean, as a person, not in the company, but it's like as a person, I have a lot of shit I got to go through with the government to make sure everything's right. My personal property tax. I mean, you name it. It's just slews of stuff.
Yeah.
So you're telling me this
Registration.
guy doesn't have to do all the stressful shit, doesn't have to deal with the stressful shit that the government will throw at them,
Well,
and they're making more money? It's like,
and I think this comes down to what we're really talking about. It's like, the social aspect of all this stuff. Everyone's mad about people getting deported now, but no one can acknowledge that people were coming here at an insane and an alarming and damaging rate for 4 years, and a lot of people said stuff about it. They were silenced. They were called racists. Now everyone's calling ICE, and they're assaulting ICE facilities and stuff like that. It's like, just can you have more than a short-term memory for like 10 seconds and realize that this is a response to what happened? And there's a social.
can you remember Obama and the fact that he was for this like not that long ago?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just a social pressure.
Not even
It's
20
like-
years ago. Not even 20 years ago.
And-
Obama was like, Obama, Hillary, Kamala, you name it. They all have videos in the past of being like, we are against illegal immigration. We will not let these people. What was the famous Hillary quote saying, if you don't speak our language, get out, basically. It's like, it wasn't, that's not spot on. Let me correct that. It was basically like, if you're in this country, illegally, basically you're out. But she ended it saying like, if you're going to be here, you should be speaking our language. It's real quick. See if you can find that video on YouTube. It's wild though.
I'm sure it's been scrubbed.
No, I've seen it within the past 6 months, and that's what brought this up is the fact that it's like the left, and this was during her. I'm not going to say it's during her campaign. It might have been earlier, but regardless,
2015 or something.
regardless, it's like if you're going to sit there and say like, oh, politicians just say what they can to win. It's like, well, she said a lot and then some. Hillary Clinton, anti-immigration. speech. But it's that type of stuff where it's like, okay, this was your ringleader against Trump, and she wanted to do the stuff that he's doing. So it's the confusion. And what really bothers me, like you said, is it's these people who are like, you know, ICE and all this is absolutely, it's anti-constitutional, it's Nazi, it's evil. It's like, if that were the case, and your side is right and our side's wrong, if that were the case, then why is your side not doing anything about what's happening? All they're doing is they're like the For the Cure. Cancer spreads more and more and more, but thank goodness we had somebody raise something $1 billion for the cure.
Yeah, that's been going on for at least
which is getting
years.
which the problem's getting worse. There is no cure, but thank goodness we have given all of our money for
the problem's
cure.
getting worse and the money is getting more.
Yeah, and that's the idea. Is it's
Inverse
like
relationship.
as you're watching like the whole cancer thing fall apart, we keep giving money to somebody who's not doing anything about it. And I think people are looking at politics the same way, where it's like, okay, our taxes keep going up. And they've never gone down. But we've been arguing that our taxes should be going down for like 30 plus years. So why do they keep going up? What's going on? And when you see people like Hillary coming out saying crazy things that are like for immigration, and then suddenly, you know, not even within 20 years, within 10 years, our country is anti-immigration with the same people who were pushing anti-immigration were the same ones who are pushing, or the same people pushing anti-immigration are the ones everybody's rallying around for immigration. And it's just this confusing imbalance where it's like, if this is some Nazi regime where we're just transferring people off, we're just rallying up even American citizens, then how come the entire news media who's against Trump and virtually everybody who's vocalized they're against Trump, if we have this many people who are anti-Trump, then how is he getting away with doing this stuff and half the country is unaware? If very clearly during his campaign, the media had all the power, not him. So if he doesn't control the media, very clearly Trump doesn't control the media. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, they all hate him.
So if the media hates Trump, how is he getting away with this stuff? That's kind of the question. That's what I don't get. If all this immigration stuff, for the left's argument, if all this immigration stuff does come down to conspiracy of we're rallying people up, even legal immigrants, and we're sending them back. Like, I don't understand why there's not a ton of proof from the media who would be the only source of evidence, especially mainstream. All mainstream news organizations responsible for the source of proof. Why have I seen none as far as this slew of legal Americans getting transferred off? I've never seen it personally. But I'm being told by the left that this is what they're seeing. This is why I get thrown off with the whole thing. Is it's like I might be on your side as far as like shit's that level ridiculous, but at the same time, it's like I've been saying this for 15 years and I was called crazy by you guys, and now you guys are saying it's happening because of one dude. I've been saying shit's gonna get really dark. I've been saying that for 15 years because I believe it's part of an overall plan.
Over
But
15 years, it's been getting darker.
But it's like then Trump pops in and like, oh, he's Hitler. It's like, no, this is an organized thing. This isn't just one guy. If we get Trump out, do you think everything will go back to normal? Fuck no. I don't understand the argument of Trump's the problem. If we get rid of Trump and we get rid of the problem, our country goes back to normal and everything goes back to the way it was 15, 20 years ago? I don't think so. I think what's going on, even if Trump's a part of it, it's like, can we not all agree that what's going on is bigger than this? It drives me crazy. It's no, Alex, you're a racist because of all your views, and that has nothing to do with the powers that control people in government positions like the president in America. Like, obviously there's structures beyond our government. However, like, I am the problem. I don't understand the social aspect of all this. I'm sorry.
Very good.
I was gonna say, I mean that herein is the problem. It's these are real issues that need discussion, but instead of that, you're being called a racist, and it's not. This is an issue that, like, I want to talk about. The spectrum, just the phenomenon in general, and it's always racist or anti-Semite or like basically what is going on now is that people are responding to real world things and questioning things in a legitimate way, trying to have a debate, and they're being shut down through slander is essentially the shorthand of it. It's shutting down the debate through a slanderous way, where it's like, I don't hate people. I feel for the immigrants that are here illegally and that have to leave now. And it's like that. It's a shitty situation. It's a shitty.
But we don't have a solution other than that. We don't have a solution of how do we get these people legalized,
right, no,
paying
it's
taxes.
not about, like, that's.
I'm just saying, like, we don't have a solution to keep them here.
Right, but
So either we keep them here and our country falls apart more, or this is the only option.
I know, but we're not talking about the prescription for the problem. We're talking about the social aspect of this. Is if you have a conversation with somebody about this, then they call you a racist. They shut you down. It's a tactic to basically end the conversation. You don't get to the solution. You don't get to an agreement point. And then that's the main key, I believe, is that they don't want people to agree that, okay, in this specific example, okay, yeah, there's a lot of immigrants here. We should probably make most of them leave. Or abortion or something. Okay, well, I think we can all agree that killing a baby is wrong, but, it's also up to a choice. But, like, I think we can all agree that there's a certain point where it becomes fucked up. It's like it's shutting down people's ability to agree with each other and find a common actual solution or a consensus.
Or make their own choices.
Right. It's creating a dynamic of fight, this side, and there's no...
It's either I'm right or you're right. There's no...
Right.
There's
nobody's willing to concede
Yeah.
ground to get to a common point.
And again, I look at that as... I mean, it has to be conditioning, left and right. Personally, I think the right is a little more open to communication when it comes to what certain issues are. Only because if you disagree with me, I may be willing to argue it out. But if I disagree with you, I'm now labeled as somebody who's hateful. And that's because if I want to argue the trans thing at all, that means I'm not for it. It means I'm not for them. And it means I don't support them. I don't like them. I don't love them. And I want them to die. And it's like, no. Like, I love them as people. I think they should be able to be whoever they want to be.
Right. Freedom under the Constitution.
Freedom of expression. I'm actually very for the Constitution. So if you want to be that way, I will actually fight to support something that I disagree with. I'm not a trans person, so I disagree with thinking that. However, I would go to war to fight for your belief to express yourself however you want. But if I say, while I would lay my life on the line to support your freedom of expression, if I say that, I don't know, I don't think you should be able to use a women's restroom,
Or
then,
give puberty blockers to children.
yeah, or give puberty blockers to children. Suddenly, I'm an extremist. I'm offensive. I'm hateful. I'm transphobic. Like, Forget that I said I would die for this specific person. And I would die for their beliefs, which is all of you guys, even though I would do that. Because I have boundaries, and I believe those boundaries should be respected. I'm not a woman, but I will also fight for women's right to have boundaries for bathrooms, sports, all that stuff. But if I fight for both, I'm a problem. Like it just blows my mind how there's no equal communication socially of me saying, "Hey, I know your friend is trans, and she is fine to be trans, and I can call her she, but like she can't go in the women's restroom." Then it's an issue. It becomes a thing where there is no debate. I either agree 100% that this man is a woman, and I believe that and allow them to do what they're about to do, or I stand up for my own beliefs, separate from their beliefs, and I become a problem. And I think people really need to start focusing on that. Like, these are my beliefs. This is who I am. I'm all for you being who you are. But you have to be for me being who I am. And I think that translates all through politics, where it's like most people who stand up for the trans community, they're not trans, so they don't understand it. That is politics. Most of us who are arguing politics don't fully understand the intricacies that are involved and all the upper people who are involved, the super PACs, all that kind of nonsense. The stuff that is the APAC, all that stuff that's out of our view. We don't really understand what's all affecting what's going on. Yet we will literally cut off family that we've known our entire lives just because they don't fully agree with something that we don't really have a grasp on. And that's more my issue, is that I would never cut off family. I've had family ridicule me for my stuff. What did I do? I became stronger and I boned up better on what I was talking about. I didn't sit there and say, I don't understand this either, and you called me out. I'm going to never talk to you again. I was like, okay, we'll have this argument again, and I'll be better prepared.
You care to chime in on any of this?
Let's see, okay, so I have friends of, all different kinds, right? I got, gay friends. I got liberal friends. I got conservative friends. So there was a time that I was called homophobic. I was accused of hating gay people. See, the funny thing is, I got a buddy that, he's gay, but yet he also is against Trump. But yet, me and him get along perfectly fine.
Yeah.
There was a person, I was accused of hating gays. And I was like, no. And this person was heavily against me, right? And I was like, no, I'm really not. And so I was like, I will prove it to you. I called up my buddy. He calls me by a certain nickname, and I'm just going to say that. And, I call him buddy, and I was like, hey, supposedly I'm being accused of hating gay people. And he was like, excuse me? Who was saying, he's like, who's saying that? And I'm just like, just this one person right here. And he's like, put that person on the phone. I hate when he does that tongue click. He does every time I try to impersonate him now. I do it just like how he does. And he was like, "Oh no, Joe is one of my straight best friends. He's never judged me for who I am. He knows what I am and how I live, and he has never once judged me, and that's why he's like one of my best friends." And So I looked, and she finally looked at me, and she goes, "I still think you hate gays." And he's like, he was on speaker, and he just goes, "Bitch, shut the fuck up." And it just made me laugh. And
made me laugh.
But yeah, he's assistant manager down there at Condados down at Ballpark, and I'm running his business a little bit, even though that business is starting to drive him a little bit insane. I mean, he's working 60, 65, 70 hours a week as assistant manager, and he's constantly there, and I'm like, dude, you need me to bring you a cot or something? Because you never leave that place. But no, it's just like, again, like we get accused of these things, and we, even though we can prove over and over again that we're not these things.
Because it has nothing to do with the issue. It has everything to do with the ideology.
Exactly.
Because you can say, here's my gay friend. He's vouching for me. And he is telling you to shut up, bitch. Because you are wrong. And that person, instead of going, maybe I'm wrong, they'll sit there and turn on him. And be like, maybe you just don't understand the oppression you're under. And you're like, what? Like, so it gets deeper than this?
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was just, I hate people. Here's proof I don't hate people. Well, he doesn't understand he's hated. You're like, what the fuck? Do you understand how fucked up it is to tell somebody that? And I know that's not the situation exactly that happened, but I see that so much where like a black guy will come up and be like, hey, you know, I actually went to the conservative side because of how hateful you guys were. There's a famous video online of a guy. He was a liberal man, black liberal, and he was basically like, you guys just hate all this shit. And she's like, would you like to come on our side and just follow us? Let's like do a thing. And he was like, okay. So they brought him to the side for the Trump rally in a giant line. And everybody in line was like, you can cut line and jump with us. You can come in with us. And he's like, but I'm black. They're like, we don't give a fuck what you are. You're a man of God. You're a brother of ours, man. We don't care who you are. And he was like, but this and that. And they're like, he's like, but the systematic oppression and this and that. They're like, man, fuck all that shit. You're with us. We fight for you. We don't really care about any of that stuff. Like, you are one of us. If you have an issue in your life with what's going on, we'll fight the government for you. You don't get it. Like, we're here for you. And he ended up being like, okay, this is wildly welcoming. I think some lady gave him a kiss on the cheek. Like, it was an event. Then they took him to the other side of the street with the protesters. And the protesters turned on him so hard. It's a famous video. And just wrecked him. They were attacking him. Like, they're like, he tried to say something. They're like, oh, they're like white women telling him that he doesn't understand the oppression that he's under. Basically, we understand what the issues in this country are, like, and you're being oppressed, but you don't really understand the issues is the problem. And it's like, one, if a black guy is being persecuted by the government through this systematic racism, he would know better than you. So to tell him he doesn't understand is the most hypocritical thing for the argument in its entirety. It's like, if it's this big of an issue for you to come out here, if it's this big of an issue for you to come out here and protest, then we all know what's going on, right? No, they don't know. Nobody knows. No, they need to be really educated fully to understand how they're being oppressed. Well, then it's probably not that big of an issue. Like, if you have to sit there and tell a black man who's thriving, doing well, and is successful, tell him that he doesn't understand how he's being oppressed so that you can help him wake up and fight. And, like, I don't get it. It's like there's no communication of saying, hey, let me explain what you don't know. It's you're just going to blatantly tell this person you don't know. You need to do research. Yeah. Why can't you just tell me?
It's like people call, black people Uncle Toms, or
it's
the blackface of white supremacy. It's like that's
funny.
So
I have an Uncle Tom. And he lives in Indiana, and he's a biker. He's a free rider. He likes to just jumping on his bike and just cruise. But anyway,
no. So I think, what bothers me above all else in this whole, it's a culture. It is a culture war. There's social aspects. We've been talking about it all night. But what bothers me the most is that what the government does functionally, like their job, what they go to work for, what they actually do, none of this social culture war shit is part of that.
None of it.
Everybody has the same rights. And if they don't, then they have special rights because of their special minority status. and none of that has to do with systematic oppression. So what we have is basically an entire society who is so focused on this culture war, left, right, that they will stand in these social issues, and the government has nothing to do with it. Culture works itself out through, what society wants.
Experience.
If society wants, trans people bathrooms, society's going to ask for that. The government can mandate that. That's a very small part of what they do. Most of what they do is, budget allocation and foreign policy or
like you said,
all this stuff. There's so many things that are going unnoticed and undebated. Like how should the government run our country is the real question, and everyone's worried about what the fuck bathroom you can go to.
And it's like you said, the government could mandate it, but I think it should wake everybody up when companies like Target were like the first to pioneer and say we have,
But that's not the government too.
But what I'm saying is like the government during Biden's administration did push it onto companies, the DEI thing. So you had all these businesses doing DEI, mandated through the government. So you have.
Was it?
This is
I
the
don't
thing.
understand
This
that
is the thing. I don't fully understand it either.
Yeah.
All I know is that Target had entire sections of their store that were all LGBT. Target had changing rooms that were, unisex. Like they're changing rooms. Like if you go
Right.
If you say you're a woman, you can go into the women's changing room. They were the first ones to pioneer this, while other companies started to follow. The moment Trump came in and said, the government, we're pulling Trump said, we're pulling all of this stuff out. Now, Trump didn't mandate that you can't do it.
Right.
All Trump said is, we're pulling this out of the government. He didn't tell companies they couldn't do it. He just said,
this is where I'm at.
He just said, this is no longer something that I'm allowing to be pushed.
Because
and then
Target was never forced to do that in the first place.
They weren't forced to do it, but the moment that Trump ended it, now this is my argument. Costco is pretty much the only company that still pushes DEI. The government
DUI.
but the government has not come after Costco for DEI. They haven't. Why?
Well,
because
it's not their jurisdiction.
Because Costco can do it. So why is it that why this is what people don't understand. Costco's prices boomed because DEI was ended. But Costco continued DEI. So everybody went to Costco because they were saying, all of, Walmart, they ended it. Target, they ended it. All these companies ended it. Why did they end it? That's my question. Target was the biggest pioneer of all of it. The day Trump was like, we're not doing this, they stopped. The day of, they stopped. Almost every company stopped except Costco. But Costco wasn't reprimanded for it, which means it is a personal choice. So right now, Costco can push DEI by their choice.
It has been a personal choice.
So that means that every other company personally chose to stop it. We got crazy business because we were one of the only companies that continued it. So are you telling me that every other business just decided that we don't want to do DEI? Why did they all decide to do it? And then when Trump said it's over, if it's a choice, why did every company end it? I don't understand that aspect.
And so this is part of it too. It's like, okay, you start a business, individual, and you start to grow, and you have 50 people. At what point does the government say you have to do DEI? I don't think it's ever been like that. I think it was. I think what it was
incentive.
It was like the FFA or the like these government agencies that employ people. I think that was the policy. It was DEI in these government-funded programs, or not programs, but you know what I'm talking about. But it was never
programs. Let's go.
Yeah, but it was never Target. It was they were never forced to do DEI. They just did it. So it's like Trump ended the mandate on things like the FFA. Like that's the perfect example. It's everyone was mad about that because there was that helicopter crash, and Trump was like, "Oh, it's probably a DEI guy, or DEI hire." And then they got so mad at him, and it turns out it was, and then it kind of died there. But it's like he ended that because it should be meritocracy. It should be the people that are deciding which planes fly where and their routes. That shouldn't be a diversity. It should be merit-based hire, because it has to do with safety. And this is the government, and we don't discriminate based on race. We don't give other races like preference to make up for some historical discretion.
Yeah, we all saw what happened on 9/11.
It's like that is racist. Sorry, no, I didn't mean to agree with you.
That was
But, like,
not a diversity hire. I'm saying.
but like that is actual racism.
Boom.
You know, like that hiring somebody because you don't have enough black people or whatever. It's not about that. It's about who can get this job. This is a government job.
You have 10
everyone's the same.
10 highly qualified pilots, and 2 don't get the job because they don't meet the race requirement. That in itself should be looked at as racist.
That is racist.
Like, but I'm the best for the job. Yeah, but
and
you're,
I
you're
understand.
white. We already have 8 white people.
Like I think everyone can.
I'd be pissed. I'd be like, bro,
It's all whiteies up here.
if blackface wasn't so frowned upon, like maybe I'd have a job.
Well,
Like,
shit, I'm just waiting for the time I go looking for another shop to go work at. Well, we need more females. Even though you're qualified, you're a state inspector, you have all these ASC certifications, but we need more females.
But I could be.
What if I'm-
I could be a female if you want.
what if I'm
I
trans?
identify one as now. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Now you're hired.
check that box. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, at what point does that actually become racist? Because it's not. This is the government. We're all supposed to have the same equal rights.
At what percentage is it racist?
If you apply to a
Yeah.
government job, they should hire you based on your qualifications. Doesn't matter about any of that stuff. So Trump ended that. Has nothing to do with Target, nothing to do with Costco. These are private businesses that decide what their policies are. And Target was very far on the left. And then the right boycotted them, and now they're dialing it back. Costco saw all these other companies dial back their DEI and decided to lean into it. They got a lot of business. That's a strategy. But these are not, people don't understand that's not a government mandated thing. Government.
But the argument is if Target pioneered this, Target was one of the first that went full extreme with all of it. Not just the
It was
DEI
the
stuff.
swimsuits. I remember that was
They
the
had an
turning
entire.
point.
They had an entire. I mean, it was like almost like I did say a quarter of the store, but it was a very large section that was all LGBT. They switched their changing rooms for like a week until that blew up in the media of
Which
guys
is
recording.
fine too.
Guys. No, it blew up. No, it blew up.
Well,
guys,
no, I mean, like they can do that, but
no, they can.
the
Yes.
response.
The response was a lot of perverts took advantage of it.
Well, yeah.
and
I was gonna
women.
say, like, what happens if there's like young teenage girls in the changing room, and these guys are claiming that they're females that go in there?
That
and
was
they're
happening.
watching. I know.
It lasted
got
1 week. It lasted.
As a father, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I saw somebody doing that to my daughter in that changing room, I'm going in that changing room just to go beat that motherfucker's ass.
Yeah,
I can
and
care less.
you would get arrested.
I wouldn't care. I'm
But that's
defending
what's
my
crazy.
daughter.
Like this man walked into a woman's change room and took pictures of my daughter. I beat his ass, grabbed his phone, found out he did take pictures of my daughter, and then I beat his ass again. And then
But yeah,
I
you're
went
not
to
gonna
jail.
arrest this man that he's basically having child pornography now on his phone.
Well, he's a minor attracted person, and you have to be sensitive of.
He's a DEI protected.
I would not give two shits. I'm not even
But
gonna
that's
lie.
how crazy this stuff gets. But that's my big issue is with Target being the one to pioneer all of this. The fact that they were one of the first ones to just pull out, it did seem like it wasn't a choice. Because if Trump came in and was like, I don't like DEI, well, under Biden, Target was all about it. So why would they not fight back against Trump? Why would they immediately, the first chance that they had, why would they pull it out?
Well, this is
Again, they weren't forced to do this.
Right.
When Trump came in, they stopped it, and every company except Costco stopped it.
And
That's why I say it seems like it was mandated. Where, like you said,
it's essentially taking advantage of the social dynamics of whatever's going on. And I want you to give the situation about when you worked at a certain company that starts with a C, but it's like companies only do this to make money. They weren't ever mandated, and everyone thought Target was so virtuous until people were like, "That's fucked up. We're gonna boycott your store," and then they did take a serious hit. Same thing with Bud Light and.
But here's the thing. They kept going. My issue is all of these companies.
But
kept
they reversed
going.
though.
They reversed when Trump got in.
But that's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about.
They didn't reverse when the stocks dropped. They didn't reverse when everybody was complaining that we publicly are watching your stocks drop. They didn't reverse when people said we were offended that you are allowing your stocks to drop publicly. 2 months ago, we watched your company fall to the ground. We were mad that 2 months later you're still pushing it. Now it looks like you're doing this on purpose, that you're pushing this ideology separate from the business. You are losing business. Your company is failing, and yet 2 months later you're still prioritizing the ideology.
I mean,
that was the issue.
The writing's on the wall.
Look at Disney.
Same thing with Disney.
But
Disney,
Disney's
Target,
still
and
doing
Bud
it.
Light have all been falling.
But they're
consistently.
still doing it. So why?
But they're not. They walked away from it.
When
But
Trump
it's
came
still
in.
it's still dropping because people know. People don't forget. People
But
they
didn't-
write them off.
But my whole thing is they didn't stop when they saw it plummeting. Like Disney's first race switch of let's do a movie with a different race. The whole movie's the same, but we don't want a white person.
Disney's still going full full regalia.
I get the idea that it's we want other people to associate themselves with the main character.
Right.
My
There's nothing wrong
argument,
with that.
my very simple argument is when I watched Land Before Time, I didn't have to be a dinosaur.
Disney?
But regardless, I didn't have to be a dinosaur to relate to Littlefoot.
Littlefoot.
You don't have to relate to the character for skin tone. I would actually argue that trying to make somebody relate to the character on skin tone is more fucked up than letting people just take in the overall message. You don't view yourself as the main character because they look like you. You view yourself as the main character because the turmoil they go through and the circumstances they have to try to overcome and how they do it. And if they're able to do it in a miraculous way, it motivates you to want to be more like the main character. I see myself as him and I can be more like him.
Honestly,
you don't need to make him white for me to see that. He can be a fucking long neck. And that's my point. He can be a fucking dinosaur and I will be like, I mean, me and him, it's not about the fact that I don't have a long neck. It's the fact that we have a similar worldview. That's what it comes down to. So when you see Disney go, hey, we're going to change the race. That way people get the movie better.
Well,
the problem with that is their stocks dropped. Then they kept pushing it. Their stocks dropped more. It became nothing but social media where everybody was like, Disney has changed the race of 3-4 different people. Everything's falling apart.
Like
Little Mermaid, Snow White, you name it. They have
recently Harry Potter. Apparently, J.K. Rowling has. There are proponents to. There's some new Harry Potter series or something where they made the Snape character is black now. Which
see that is offensive to me.
Well,
why would you make Snape black? Because he's got to be the bad guy?
I think people had a problem because right, he's the evil, terrible,
the most evil guy. Let's make him black.
Fuck you, Harry
But that's why
Potter.
you don't change that stuff, because the movie has a system. And what is that?
Well,
it is this
like
area.
you didn't
in
need
this
to change.
area, these people are this color.
It's an obvious change for a reason. It's like it didn't need to be changed. And I'm not saying that representation isn't a thing, because I
disagree with the representation
like-
for this reason. Ariel was changed. Ariel.
Right.
No.
No.
Ariel.
I'm
fuck
saying-
the white
I'm
skin.
saying they are changing-
But no, fuck the white skin. She's a redhead. How many movies have redheads?
well, how much melanin?
No. But seriously,
or how much vitamin D could you get from under the ocean if you had black skin? You'd almost have none.
none.
You basically
but,
die.
But even take all the realistic facts out of it, and let's go full DEI. How many movies have redheads? Why is it that the one?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
This
Redhead,
isn't a white
under
woman. This is a
misrepresented.
redhead. Why are we going to sit here and cut out the redhead? It's not a blonde or brunette. There's plenty of those. Redheads are rare. Let's change her because she's white.
That's
the
very true.
issue. Because if I'm a redheaded person, I'm going to say, "Where's my representation?" Well, you have it in the other movie. We redid it for others.
That is.
Well,
There's
that
also
seems-
a natural redheaded African American.
There are from the steps of maybe like
I mean, I'm waiting for them to change the movie Brave.
But seriously, the main thing with Ariel was she had red hair. It was a very obvious thing, and she
That's
was a
what
fish.
everybody remembered her from.
But it's like the idea is you have to change the most obvious components and make her black. But she was white. Like you said, the facts are, you wouldn't get that dark underwater. That is a fact, regardless of what anybody says. That is an actual fact. But she also had red hair. So why would you not do a black woman with red hair? Like,
Right.
why do you have to change the hair color? Why do you have to minimalize what's already a minority? Because her skin is white, we have to take the minority. I'm sorry, redheads, you're a minority, but you don't get your own. It's like there's more black people than redheads, probably.
yeah.
So even though they're a majority to your minority, the white skin makes you a majority. It's just racial math. That in itself is so fucking racist. It's so fucked up.
That's where we're at.
You can't sit there and tell me that because I have red hair, my white skin makes it that the movie needs to be entirely redone by a company that could easily just make a new movie.
And that's the thing with Disney. They're trying to redo the old shit with diversity
But they
characters.
still
But
are.
when they could create new shit with diversity.
They're doing it
characters.
right now
I
as we
wouldn't-
speak. They're in the office. They're like, add more pink hair. My issue is they have completely dropped. The company is falling apart. Disney is talking about selling. It's like all these fucked up things that are going on right now. And it's like all you guys ever had to do was just keep making kid movies.
Wait, if Disney
And not
sold,
add.
who would on earth have the money to actually buy?
Well, now that their stock price is fucking plummeted.
But that's the idea. That's why they
I
have to
was-
sell.
Elon
Actually, I
Musk.
was gonna say
Elon
Elon
Musk could
Musk.
probably buy Disney like tomorrow and be like, "Oh, your company's worth 68 billion. I'll give you 100 billion, and I'll change Disney to
A $500 billion company.
and it's going to have it's going to be integrated with X and we're going to have AI Disney movies.
We're gonna have an AI program that will actually make the movies for us. We're gonna cut actors completely out.
Let that sink in.
Yeah.
I mean, and every one of my Disney movies that I'll make will have Teslas. It's gonna be doing all the transport. We're even gonna have Tesla spaceships.
SpaceX.
But that's really my argument for the conversation is when it comes to the DEI stuff. I am ignorant in this. I am confused on all the bureaucratic shit on the DEI stuff. I do not understand that while under Biden, almost every company started pushing DEI. Almost every company started pushing it very hard.
Yeah.
Almost every company started seeing backlash and started failing. Almost every company that pushed DEI lost money for 4 fucking years. It wasn't until Trump came out and was like, I'm done with the DEI thing, that almost every single company stopped it. Does that not seem like there
okay.
was some
I mean,
kind
were
of
they
mandate
maybe
behind
like
it?
afraid of like some kind of like punishment fee, or if they didn't do what he wanted?
That's what I'm saying. It
this
seems
is-
like something.
okay,
'Cause
so-
even if you said it was just like the fact that it's like, well, we know what's good for business, and this is where things are going. Like for example, Disney would stop and go, "Hey, you're wrong. We're about to lose the entire company because of what you're having us do to our movies." Instead, they keep going.
No, the government didn't mandate any of that.
They may not, but this is my argument. While they may not have mandated it, it had to be the Biden administration, 100%, that caused this whole DEI spike, because again, it was never around until Biden got in.
Social. It was social.
But again, it was never around.
It was before Biden.
Okay, well, before Biden was president, Trump was president.
I know. It was,
And while
it
Trump
started-
was president, companies weren't doing DEI.
They were though. So okay. My understanding, and I agree. I don't 100% understand this, but it's always been the law that you cannot discriminate based on hiring somebody by their race. That's been a law for a long time, and that should be a law. But then at the same time, there's this side sect of laws that said that you have to hire people of certain races if you have a discrepancy, which is inherently racist. It's a tack on to the idea of that you can't discriminate based on race, except you have to hire more people based on race. So it doesn't make any fucking sense. That is systematic racism. Trump got rid of that, and now companies are dropping it because it's not profitable.
But why were they pushing it before?
Because it was profitable.
But my whole argument is, before Trump, it really wasn't profitable. It's never been profitable. It has never
But
been
it
profitable.
gave you the
It was.
nice-
It's let me put it this
we're
way.
friendly to, we're.
I get the
diversity.
idea that like I'm a company and nothing has ever changed.
It drives business.
I provide a product and people come for it. So now I have outside groups telling me that if I add a certain flag outside the company, it'll spike prices, and my prices go up. Now, if I put that flag and my prices go down at all, I take that flag down, right?
Well, like you said with Costco, they kept DEI going. They made money
It's smart.
because DEI people said
No, because every company stopped. All of them.
right.
Sam stopped, Target stopped. Every major company that pioneered this, this is my argument, the moment Trump came in, I would argue the moment the opportunity was available, they stopped.
Right.
Now, I'm not against equality in any fucking way. I think that should be kind of the most obvious thing with all of us. We are humans. We love humans. That's it. I love all humans. You don't agree with me? I still love you. You live your life different? I still love you. You're an entirely different person. You're gay and you walk on your hands instead of your feet. I still love you. However, I don't want what I love and what I'm into, I don't want that to bleed into the world. That is a personal thing for me. It's just me. I want the overall consensus of the world to slowly bleed into me, where I can say, okay, I see how the world works. I'm a little off. Let me try to catch up with everybody. The difference of what's happening is we don't want you to catch up with us. You either agree or you don't. That's not society. That's not how we work. So my issue is all of these companies may be profitable, but they all started pushing stuff that some of these companies didn't even agree with. Now you can't tell me like 50 companies push DEI and trans stuff, and all 50 of those white cis men who own these companies are all for trans agendas. You cannot assume that. You have to assume that some of these companies pushing all of this stuff are trying to capitalize off of the issue, which is
Right.
This guy
That's what I'm
hates.
saying.
This guy hates trans people, but he's going to push trans people to make money off of them. Now, the argument I would come off of that is the moment that he sees that his company is not making money off the trans people and he's actually losing money because he's going that direction, he would stop, right?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah,
But they didn't. That's my argument. They
Who?
didn't.
Who didn't?
Target?
No,
Target-
Target stopped.
When Trump got in.
Yeah.
The moment Trump got in.
But Costco did.
But for four,
and they made money.
But for 4 years, their stock dropped.
Yeah,
It
'cause-
only spiked in maybe the first six
because
months
people were
of all of
responding
this.
to DEI.
But this is my issue. How come in the first 6 months of this is my argument. In the first 6 months of Target pushing DEI, their stocks might have gone up. After that, they went down for 4 years. The moment Trump came in and was like, I'm ending DEI. I don't know what that means when he said that. But I know when he said, I'm ending DEI, companies like Costco that wanted to keep it going, they were allowed to. It almost seems like the companies that had to do it were like, we're done. That's why I say, I cannot prove it's mandated, but I can say that when Trump got in, the day he said, I'm going to end DEI, every single company that was suffering and falling into the dirt because of what they were doing.
Maybe they were just happy he decided to end it.
But again, if it's not a mandated thing by the government, do you see what I'm saying? If it's not mandated by the government, how come day one almost every company stopped? It has nothing to do with their prices. Target's prices, their company as a whole was for 4 years was on a decline. They were not shooting up. They were on a decline for the overall. In other words, majority of people were like, we don't like that you let men into women's fitting rooms, so I don't want to go there with my wife, and I won't let my wife go there. Or I don't like that you're pushing all this LGBT clothing and all this stuff. Right when I walk in, it's all in LGBT stuff. I don't want my kids going in there. There's a lot of reasons why people stopped
extreme.
going. And for 4 years it dropped. It wasn't until Trump came in and said, I'm ending the DEI thing, that Target and all these other companies immediately stopped. Which means, hey, we've been losing money. We knew when we started pushing this, maybe it'd make us money, and it didn't. But for some reason, we kept running our company into the ground until you said we didn't have to.
Okay.
And that's why I say, yes, there's no proof that it was mandated, but we all noticed an immediate drop. Costco had huge pulls from our Costco stock shot up because Costco was the only company doing DEI really.
They captured that market.
Which is proof in itself that Trump did not say you can't do this. It's almost like he said, you have your own choice. And that's why I say, I cannot prove that the Biden administration mandated DEI for all of businesses everywhere, but I can say that the moment Trump said you don't have to, every company stopped. And I think for the majority, that should be acknowledged. When we had surging prices at Costco for all these people who were like, we're coming here. I'm not lying how many times I've heard people say, I am switching here. I'm not lying. So many people. I mean, I'd say I don't work membership, but I've had a good number of, I just walking back to go like do a key flick, I would overhear a conversation during that time. It was about a month's period. I probably heard 5 different conversations. This is me just walking up and overhearing somebody saying, I'm here to start a membership. I canceled my Sam's because they ended DEI. And you guys still do it. We had a huge surge. Like, it's almost mind-blowing how many people were really switched over just for that one aspect. Costco is pushing something that a lot of people wanted, and they got all the money for that. Now, I'm not saying that is a business tactic, but I will say that it should speak volumes for the people who want DEI. Okay. You want DEI? Look, every company that you supported...
Let me chime in.
All I'm saying is every company that was ever supported for DEI essentially stopped. So where's the backlash on all of these companies that we didn't want to push it and they pushed it? And I would take the LGBT side on that, because I agree. I didn't want them to push all this LGBT shit on kids. I'm mad about that. But they did it. Then the moment they had the opportunity, they stopped it and they said, fuck LGBT. Now you guys should be mad. And I will be on your side to say you should not have taken advantage of these people to push their stuff to capitalize on them.
Well, that's what it was. And so,
No, that's what it was, but that's not what's being acknowledged.
Let me
and that's my
respond,
issue.
and we are kind of getting to the end of the show here, and usually we do like a final thoughts kind of thing, where you kind of sum up, what you've learned, what you've taken from the conversation, kind of your final conclusions and everything, and I'll go ahead and start, and I mean, you're right, I agree with you, and I think really what's happening is that you had there was such a push for representation and DEI and all that, and it wasn't an organic push. It was a forced push. You see that in Hollywood, in the Disney movies. You see that in like government jobs. Like that's why I think that's the difference between mandating DEI in the government and taking it away because everyone's equal. So companies were like, companies were responding to the social pressure. So I think what happens when you push DEI in the government and you push it in the social spheres, and this whole inclusion movement is happening, you have people like Target, companies like Target, that went farther than your normal, average, everyday person would get, because all this stuff is like, trans people are a minority. So when you have the bulging swimsuits, the first thing you walk into Target, you go, what the fuck? I don't want my young child to see that. I'm not going to shop here anymore. So it went too hard. I think that there was a point where things went way too hard. And they basically, they were boycotted. Like
I know this
people were like against.
I know this is final points. My only argument is they pushed the unisex changing rooms. I think they pushed it for like 2 weeks.
Right, they got sued.
After
there
2
was,
weeks,
there was
they
problems.
made a public thing and they said we're done.
Yeah.
Because there were so many men who were recording women in these changing rooms that they were like, we're done with this. But everything else related, they kept pushing. The only reason they stopped that is because it was creating like a wildly realistic issue.
Unsafe areas.
You're creating an unsafe zone.
It's
And
uncharted
like,
territory.
Here's a place that's known for you taking damage. So it's like if you go to Target, it's like you're not afraid to go in the changing room. You're afraid to go to Target because of what it's bringing to Target, the types of people it's bringing to Target. So it's not like, well, they have change rooms, I don't want to go in there. I don't want to go there at all because of the type of people who think they can go there. I don't want a guy. I don't want to run into him in the aisle.
Well,
It becomes an issue. But
So-
my
so-
only argument is even after only 2 weeks, they pulled it. But for another 3 fucking years, they pushed all of the same ideology.
Well,
They just
okay.
quietly
Let me-
ended that one thing. And that's why I say it's
I'm
not
just painting-
Target's
I'm just painting
decision.
the picture. This comes down to the whole point of this episode was the social dynamics of politics. And it's like, you had a point where you had Trump term 1, where people kind of like were agnostic to politics, and then they got radicalized, either on the right or the left. So that's where the divide started. So you see the difference between Trump term 1 and Biden, and then Trump term 2. So it goes right, left, right. And I think what happened is that you have a lot of people that were radicalized from Trump term. I think what happened is you have a lot of people that were radicalized from Trump term 1 that basically were responding to what they conceived as some type of racist rights, like alt-right movement or something like that. And the media fueled that. It was a production of the media. Because Trump wasn't a white supremacist. He never was. It was never about that. It was about America first. It was about improving our country versus all the other bullshit we're doing. So people slandered him in this way, and it stuck. So, like, Trump term 1, you basically have a rise of this kind of liberalist response to what they conceived as this fascist dictator. And then basically from there you have Biden, who I can't tell you any liberal that's told me anything that Biden did well. I literally cannot. I ask liberals all the time, what do you think Biden did well in his presidency? They can't tell me it. So, it's like, and then it was this neutral period mixed with COVID where you basically have this rise of liberalism kind of took over, and the social aspects, like, everybody hated anyone who was for the right, and it was justified, and it created this situation where people started to get fed up, and then as you have like the targets that do all this kind of very liberal, and I don't say liberal in a bad way, it's like if you're gonna have bulging swimsuits for trans children, it's like that's a step too far, and people realize that. It's like this shit is getting too far. We thought that maybe you're right. Trump was a little extreme, but like you guys are getting way more extreme. I don't want to shop here anymore. So they realized that the public was turning against this. They realized that Biden was senile. They realized that nothing that he did actually was effective. Everything he did touched was a failure. And then you had this angst. At the same time, the media is like portraying this as, Biden's the greatest, Trump's terrible. All these problems are because of Trump. And people just didn't get that.
Well, see, that's why I think a lot of these companies are starting to switch a little bit over it, because they, again, like with the whole Biden administration pushing the whole DEI. So they thought, oh yeah, we've been supporting this side for so long. Let's go what they want to say and what they want to do. And then they realized, you know what? This was a bad idea. Maybe we shouldn't be doing this. But you know what? We got to show our support. I guess we're going to keep on going. Maybe it'll change. Maybe things will, But then they realized that after the 4 years of Biden doing it, they're like, yeah, this was probably the worst decision ever. That was the thing. Is, I mean, I knew some people that worked at Target. They lost their jobs because Target's, they go by labor percentage and everything like that per hour. And they were not able to keep up from the intake of money coming in to be able to even pay their employees at a certain rate. And so people were losing their jobs over this because people didn't want to support these companies. So my thing is, after like a year or two of doing it, again, it wasn't proof that it was mandated to do it. Why didn't they just stop? They're like, okay, maybe we can make it a little public announcement. We do apologize. We gave it a shot to show our support. It obviously failed us, so we're going to go back sooner than that. I just don't understand why they never just stopped before that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, Costco being one of the only few out there that's still doing the DEI, obviously the people that agree with it are only they're just going to go do all their shopping there. I get it.
Right. There's a market there.
Yeah, because they see
People
their
that wanna
ideology
support,
over there.
But it's a fraction. It's not the majority.
Well, see, that was the thing is, like, when it comes to changing rooms, does Costco have changing rooms?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say Sam's don't have changing rooms either. So what's the difference between shopping at Sam's and Costco? I mean, believe it or not, there's a lot of the same similar items there.
Costco saw an opportunity. They said, we can get this business well, everyone's dropping DEI, we can lean into this, but we don't have any of the backlash because we don't have the bulging swimsuits, and we don't have the multi-sex changing rooms, and we can be insulated from this, and we can still get the business.
But again, my argument.
Hold on, but to finish my whole point, and you kind of you added to that, Joe, and I want to just finish and let you guys have the floor, but like. All this social dynamics that's happened from Trump 1 to Biden to Trump 2. During Biden, people started to see Trump 1 wasn't that bad, even though I support this social justice
Yeah,
stuff.
I miss paying less
It's
than
like-
$2 a gallon of gas.
Right, like the economy was good. Our foreign affairs were in order. Russia started a land war. Iraq pullout was a terrible mistake, or Afghanistan was a terrible blunder. And it's like you see failure after failure, COVID, lockdowns, mandated vaccines. People are just like,
No, he only had an
You know
approval
what?
rate of like 8%, but yet they're going to say, oh, yeah, he was the greatest president. He had an approval rate.
the most votes in history, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah,
but-
a bunch of dead people voting.
But honestly, it's like you had the response to Trump, which was, this guy's a racist.
They came back to life.
DEI did a surge, and it fucking peaked, and then people saw it for what it was, and then normal people like us, people that want to go to Thanksgiving and not get in an argument with their cousin or their sister or whatever,
My
people
family
that just
goes
want to
through
live
right
their life and fucking pay their taxes and prosper in this country. Those people were like, what the fuck is going on? And then you see basically the response is now Trump 2, and it's probably been ratcheted up from here. But at the same time, it's just getting back to fucking neutral.
So
And then that's my closing. And I think, that, anyone out there that's struggling with family members and politics and stuff, stand your ground. Don't argue. Don't get mad. Just ignore it. Don't fight with people you love. Just know that you are righteous in whatever you believe and stick to that. Don't try to convince anyone else of anything else. 'Cause they're going to either learn the hard way or they're going to learn through experience. It takes time.
And
I'm
for-
done.
and for my closing,
And I got to fucking pee real bad.
I know, dude. I don't know how you have it.
I don't know how you have it.
For my closing, I would argue my issue with these companies. If you could walk slow, because I want you to hear this too. My issue with these companies, run. All right, don't walk, run. Run. Don't walk, run. I'll talk slow. You run fast. My issue with these companies is that, like, yes, it's tough because all of these companies, when you look at like, it's gone, I'm getting comfortable. Get my sound right. My issue with these companies is that Target, Walmart, all of the major companies that were known for pushing DEI and all of this new social aspect on all of us. Again, it's not something that the majority asked for. It's something that these companies were told they needed. So they started doing it. Again, the majority didn't ask for this. A minority might have.
Well, that's what I
But-
was saying to him I was like, after the first few years when they started seeing like there was never no progression, why didn't they just stop at that?
And that's my argument is when you have companies now that thank you for running. I did talk slow. You walked fast.
Yeah, he only said like 7
I
words.
don't even know how you did that. That's impressive. But my whole thing is Target is going to be more openly as a company, more supportive of everybody but Trump. So is Walmart. So are all these other companies that stopped DEI. So my argument, like you said, if a company starts DEI openly and publicly and exclaims they're doing it, and then they start adding other little things to it, like, the change rooms with Target, or like, certain aisles and this and that. They got crazy backlash for that. And they lost business for that. Like you said, after 2 years, why would you not stop? Why would you after 2 years, you're like, hey, we're still losing money. We're not evening out even. Like, it's like, let's see what happens next year. Next year, we're losing more money than we were last year. Why'd they keep it going for 4 years? And how come when Trump got in and was like, I'm done with the DEI stuff, why did they immediately stop?
When they could have stopped any time.
That's my argument. It seemed like it was something that was pushed through some kind of threat. Because I don't understand why a company would be willing to implode like that and not do anything until what seems like somebody giving them the option. Now, Costco still has the option to DEI, and they do. And as a business, it's a good business move when every company stops it. Well, we might stop it, but let's be the company that doesn't stop it yet. For any business, that would be the move. Everybody's stopping. Let's be the one that doesn't.
Yeah, it's capturing a market.
And then, just like everybody else, you will stop. But first, we'll be the one that doesn't.
Let's make sure they get the memberships first.
But
That's
no,
another
but-
thing. It's the business model is very
But
long-term.
seriously, you keep it going for 1 year, then you can stop, because now you've had a full year to grab all the memberships and all the members who would be a part of this movement that wouldn't have been unless you're pushing this. That is just a very basic, simple. You don't have to have a brain to know that would be the move to make.
Well,
it's a normal thing.
So are we going to have bets?
And you could argue, Costco's fucked up for taking advantage of that. Okay, well
I don't think
no.
that.
Every company did that. That's what all Target, Walmart, every company took advantage of you. If you're for DEI, every single company for DEI took advantage of you, because while let's argue that they weren't forced to do it, the moment Trump gave them the option not to do it, every single company stopped. They didn't say, and again, Target is not like a pro-Trump company. Neither is Walmart or any of these. So why is it that when Trump said stop DEI, every anti-Trump company stopped DEI? He didn't make them because Costco still does it. So you're still allowed to do it. So why would they stop? But that is my biggest question. It's been fucking with me. Why? Because
Target doesn't offer anything that Walmart or Schnucks doesn't offer. You know, they were trying to capture a market that was the white liberal woman that shops for her family at Target.
Yes, and what they were pushing is anti that.
Right. Well, no, it's not.
It's anti that. They want
white liberal women are democratic. That's like they support
that's what it was turned into in those years. But in the beginning, when DEI came out, white liberal women wanted to go to Target to shop for makeup stuff, certain types of sunscreens, and things that somewhat higher caliber items for women that a lot of other companies don't offer for that price. So a lot of women go to Target because they can buy a lot of their cosmetics and cosmetic related things.
But they can buy anywhere else too.
For cheaper though. So it's like competitively cheaper. Maybe online you get it less, but like if you want to go somewhere, Target's
Walmart's cheaper than Target,
and Target
they're right next to each other.
And Target has its own
almost all the time.
But keep in mind, Target has its own Starbucks inside of it.
Right.
You know,
It's more.
There's a lot of incentives,
affluent.
especially for liberal women. It is much more.
Women love Target.
They do.
Fucking love Target.
There's no question. But the issue for me.
I don't like Target.
But the issue for me, because you're a man.
I would rather just buy cheap shit on
You're
Amazon.
a guy, because you're a man. Like, But no, seriously though.
It's pretentious.
But seriously though, that's the issue with me is the issue with me is timing. It's all it is. Let's say it's just about money and DEI is just about money. Why didn't you stop when you were losing money? Why did you wait another 2 years after losing money? You saw your portfolio and you say we're losing money. Wait till next year. We're still losing money. Should we wait another 2 years?
Because they thought conservative people were not buying, and they thought that would bottom out and turn up. Because when they did all that very progressive, like in your face, like you walk in LGBT section, it's like the majority of people are not that. So at some point it gets on their nerves, or it's just not what they want. So at a certain point, when everyone else is abandoning it, you might as well throw in the towel.
But
that's how I see it, and I'm not arguing against you.
And I see that.
I'm trying to support.
My only issue.
The phenomena.
My only issue is that if that were true, Target would have come to that conclusion on their own and would have made that decision. Trump came out and said, "I'm putting an end to DEI." Every company stopped the same day. I mean, I don't know if I'm the only one who remembers the media of that time, but it was every fucking company almost immediately stopped that day. It wasn't like months progression. It was like an immediate, like at least a week. It was immediate. It was almost every company that was openly pushing DEI. I'm talking about companies like Target that are like, hey, we don't just push DEI. We celebrate it, and we're openly vocal about it. Okay, so your entire company's ideology is DEI. Like, you're telling us openly that, like, this isn't just something that you're doing. You're saying you align with the ideology, and you want to really help these people by doing this stuff. Okay. How come when Trump said no more DEI, how come Walmart and all these companies stopped? How come Target? How come you guys decided to stop?
You're talking in circles or hinting at something, but you think that is influenced.
Absolutely. Listen. Let's make this very clear. Target was, I don't have to say that. I've already said it.
Oh, you
Target,
no,
listen. Target was the pioneer of the DEI stuff when it comes to like the public companies.
Yeah.
Why is it that Walmart didn't do the same thing the same day? How come all these other companies did not start doing DEI the same day? How come Target's sales started dropping and other companies started DEI, watching their sales drop? You own a business. You don't think you understand what's going on? You're not stupid. These giant companies that have been around for God knows how long, Walmart, been around forever, they didn't pioneer DEI. They watched Target suffer and said, then we'll jump in. And all these other companies watching these companies suffer over time, like for like 3 years, companies kept jumping in. And that's my issue, is DEI from a logical standpoint cannot make a business successful. It can't. It's basic common sense. It's basic logic. We need the best of the best. We cannot hire just on race because that in itself would hurt us. So as you saw that happening and you saw the backlash on that, hey, we're a company that sells stuff. Left or right, come buy from us. Hey, we're actually going to take a political standpoint and separate ourselves. That seems like a good business move. Oh, we're losing business because we separated half of our people. And then because we did this and separated half of our fan base by saying we only align with one half, then over time, over a couple of years, other companies started saying, hey, you're losing business because you're basically outing half of your demographic. We're going to do that too. We're going to start copying this failing model. It wasn't until Trump came in and said, we're done with DEI, that all of these companies stopped in the same week. That does not tell me it was their choice. And that is my closing argument, is that when it comes to all the social stuff, we have to ask who is pushing it, because it's not us. This is a social thing that is going on without any social boundaries. Like, the social aspect of it is, we don't agree with this. That's why your business is failing. Well, at the same time, the social argument is, we're pushing this because of the hate. And it's like, that doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. We don't hate these people. There's no hate for them. If you want to dress up your mannequins and rainbow stuff and have little kids wearing rainbow stuff, that's where you have a problem, because you can be whoever you want. But when it comes to sexual orientation and what you're sexually attracted to, kids shouldn't know sex. We want this little girl to be interested in ponies and stuff. She'll find boys at her own time, but she also might think a bunch of other things. But I don't need Target to help with that. I don't need these companies, the teachers, none of that to help with that. And I think I'm sad that this whole conversation is just around this one point, when it is the topic being the social dynamics of politics. But like, it is sad that just this one aspect of politics has made such a significant social impact on all of us, that affects us, that we there's so much I wanted to get into, that it is so far from this, and it pertains to this almost none at all. But the fact that this in itself is such a big issue should raise awareness to people to say, hey, am I a part of a group that's pushing an issue? Or am I my own person who is trying to agree or disagree with an idea? Is my friend a Nazi? Or should I actually hear him out and try to understand his views? He said he voted for Trump, so I kind of want to just go Nazi. I'm just saying, guys out there, maybe just hear your friends out. And maybe if you think they're Nazi and you don't want your friend that you love to be a Nazi, maybe try to talk to him. If you are not willing to have that conversation, maybe you're the problem.
And my guess is there's not very many Nazis left, or any at all.
Not in this country. They moved out.
But, all right. So, Joe, what do you make of all this?
Well, first off, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Thanks, Alex. Personally, for me, I accept everybody for who they are. Everybody, like Alex has been saying, everybody has their own ideals. Everybody has their own morals, their own beliefs.
It's the beauty of America.
That is all about being American. But for me, like, the way I see it, if you're not affecting anything a part of my life, do whatever you want to do. Be whoever you want to be. Just don't push your ideals onto me, because that's not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
I'll accept you for who you are, regardless. But don't try to change my life for your beliefs and your own morals, because that's not how that's just not how it's going to play. And especially as a father, I got a daughter, I got a son. Don't be trying to push that stuff onto my kids. I want them to be able to make that their own decision when they become that age, of the legal age of 18. Then they can make their own thing. I will always still accept my kids. If my daughter wants to change a little bit, sure, I'm going to accept. If my son wants to change, I'm going to accept them.
But the bottom roots is, you want your kids to play with the toys you bought them. And like, if you're talking about, am I a girl? You're playing with the wrong toys, buddy. Like,
I mean, don't get me wrong. My daughter loves unicorns and rainbows. She loves rainbows. My son, for some reason, likes to play Barbies with his sister. You know what? It's fine. If that's what they're into right now, again, my son's 4.
Right.
He
and
has no idea.
He wants to play with another kid.
Yeah, I remember when I was a little boy, I was wearing my mom's dresses and shit. I was like, this shit's wild. Look at this thing. I never wore a dress. Men and women are curious as children. No matter what, they're curious. If your daughter says, hey, what's a boy. You try to recorrect her and say, hey, I know you're curious. Because you're curious about all of life. But you're not a dinosaur.
See, all I
you're
say
not,
is
you're not a
you
robot.
will learn
You're not a
about
woman.
this in school.
You're-
Hopefully they're teaching it the right way. But
Doubtful.
I know. Like that's I mean, my kids go to Catholic school. Baby mama, she's strictly wants to be in private school because
Yep.
they do not teach that type of stuff in the private school.
Yeah.
I mean,
that
I
is
know
the issue.
I know us three, we went to public. I mean,
But how messed up is it that you have to go to private school to make sure that your kid is learning school shit?
well, dude, I'm gonna tell you
Shouldn't
right now.
every school be teaching your
Hold
kids
on.
school shit? But
Let
you
me
gotta
tell you one
go to
thing,
private
man. Hold
school.
on, hold on. Let me tell you one thing.
Joe.
Let me tell you something. My daughter is in first grade, and the amount of crap that they're learning in first grade right now is
It's scary.
it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, her teacher is wanting her to read at a second grade to third grade level right now. I mean, they're even doing almost multiplication in first grade. I'm like, man, I was just learning to read in first grade. Like the amount of the school speculations.
Just
like,
wait till high school when they're like, all right, now that you understand that you have surpassed your dad, now you can understand the non-binary of human existence, and we will
No,
transform you.
No, and I'm hoping that just gets. That's not what school's supposed to be about. I mean,
Should
back
be
in
math
our
and
days in
history
school,
and
man, we had none of these worries.
No, I didn't even understand any of this shit
at all.
at
dude.
all.
I mean, I wish just for like
Anybody hating on us
no,
for
no,
this,
no.
understand we're new to this because it's a new thing.
I would wish, and I want to see. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't really like to start a lot of shit unless it's like brought to my attention. But 1 month, just every year, 1 month, shut down social media, shut down cell phones, shut down internet, just to see what people do. I mean, I personally would like to see. I don't like to see chaos. I really don't, but I already know that's what's going to cause. People are going to go nuts.
Yeah.
Because people aren't going to be able to speak to each other the way they used to. I mean, we used to having to go to each other's houses and knock on each other's doors.
Yeah.
I mean,
You want to hang out with your buddy, you got to call off a wired house phone.
Yeah.
You can't take this thing outside. You got to call your buddy. His mom answers. You're gonna have to ask if he can play that day, and if he can, maybe your mom can drive you to his house or pick him up. But or if he's close, you just go over and knock on the door. Like
They were simple times back then, and everything has
real.
gotten so complicated to these days. And it's amazing about 20 years later from school.
oh, it's terrifying.
It's kind of scary to think about. It's only been 20 years.
It's scary
right?
because our parents, nobody from the past that we know can help us with this. Nobody from the past. No, our parents can't sit there and say, well, this is how you should approach it. It's like, you don't even know what's happening now. You don't understand the fucking remote for your TV. Like, you think you can help me with the future of what I understand, and I'm able to perceive where it's going, and I have to bring kids into this world, and I have to try to understand what they're going to have to deal with and try to mentally keep up with the direction of things. Like, I don't understand the direction of things. It's above me. It's beyond any human.
Is this
and
left?
my parents and your parents can't figure
that's
out
upwards.
and your parents still have trouble figuring out the stuff that came out 10 years ago. Like, no, we're done. Because that's the scariest aspect of this. Like you said, this is the scariest aspect is the children. Because if we can barely make sense of
And we grew up in it.
And we grew up in it. We see, this is the difference. We saw the big change. We saw the no technology, walking to your buddy's house through the woods, so that you can ask if he's available? You don't know.
You were-
You're gonna walk to your friend's house hoping he can hang out.
Dude, just think about like back in freshman year, and you were like the coolest kid in school when you had a gas-powered moped.
Oh yeah.
Never had one of those.
I
I
didn't,
didn't even
but-
have
but I
the
knew the cool
Tonka
kids who
truck,
did.
like the big, the drivable, like.
Yeah.
like,
I mean, I bought one of those for my kids, and you know how many times it got used?
probably like twice.
I can tell you right now, it's never hit a city street. Mama wanted to keep it inside because she was like, I don't want the wheels to get dirty. Well, 4 batteries later. Anyways, because it would just sit there. It never would get used. But the thing is, again, I'll accept anybody for who they are. I really do. I do. I mean, back in high school, man, we were, back in the day, 20 years ago, man, we were still closest to the year of when racism was bad.
And
But our school, I'm not just saying our
No,
school.
I'm right
I mean,
there with you. I'm right there with you.
but racism wasn't even a thing, dude.
It was
We
on
had
the
every
decline.
single
It was done.
culture in our school. I mean, you had the
100%.
Asians, you had the blacks, you had the Hispanics, you had the Latinas, we had everybody.
And I want to
But
say,
no one ever judged nobody back in the day.
and I want to say, when it comes to the racism, like the blacks, for whatever reason, were the most popular at our school. And I only say that because most of my friends were black. The most popular guys on the football team, black. The people who were most outgoing and most talkative,
I mean,
black.
us going to school with Jeremy Macklin, I mean, Willie Dyson.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying.
We grew up with stars, and
like-
we still accept them for who they
But
are.
my issue was a
It
lot
wasn't
of
about the race.
But my issue was a lot of the black people who were at our school were bussed in. So this is the thing. Our school bussed them in.
Yeah.
And they became, again, these are people from areas that are not like ours. And they're being brought in. Your culture in your more dangerous areas is not like ours. But we were bussing you in.
Still 100% accepted for what
100%.
whoever you were.
100%. It wasn't just accepted. It was almost popularized. Where it's like, you guys are the coolest. You got some kind of energy. Like, you got, like, the white people, if anything, the white people are the ones fighting amongst each other the most in school. And it was the black people in school that people kind of followed. The Mexicans back in the day, they got a little shit. I'll give them that. They got a little shit. The blacks, they got a little shit, but still, most popular kids in
And
our
they
school.
held their ground the right way.
But this is how things are, and that's what drives me crazy. Is this political
I
correctness?
hate how things are now.
It drives me crazy. Hey, you force a bunch of different people into a school, and we not just found a way to make it work.
We had common
We
ground.
we found a way to love each other.
It was just people.
You're going to find evil everywhere. So there's going to be people who just want to destabilize in anywhere you go. But I will say, in school, you have the majority of the blacks out of school, or I'm not going to say majority,
I mean,
but
didn't I graduate with like 356?
yeah, I mean, like, great. I mean, there's so many benefits. There's all these things that were offered. I'm not, and it wasn't DEI. It was the other one. But the point, which
just the other one.
again, it's not proven to be fully successful. But I will say that they were given better opportunities. They, at least at my school, they were welcomed and they became successful. Almost,
It just wasn't a thing.
I mean, almost every black dude I knew, literally, almost every black dude I knew in my high school
They're
right now
thriving.
is successful.
They're thriving.
They're not, exactly. They're not, they didn't just get a job. Most of them are doing better than me. I mean, shit, my buddy that I took in to live with me and I helped him out, and my family helped get him a car so that he could get around. We helped him out in a lot of ways. He's probably making more money than me. and he's living his dream, and I'm fucking about it. Because, like, that's what I wanted. I was like, you're my best friend. I don't give a fuck what any other situation is. You're my best friend. I want to see you thrive. You know, I haven't talked to him in years. That's fine. I'm just glad he's doing well. I could care less. I'm just happy he's
Just
okay.
knowing that you were able to help somebody change their life over and show the love and the respect
and the
for others.
color doesn't matter. He could have been white. It wouldn't matter. It was my relationship with him because of his personality and how we got along. So my whole problem,
Like our
with a
old
lot
car
of
club with like Harley and Sam Lakey
Exactly.
and all them. I mean,
Yes.
that's why I still got the tattoo on my arm.
and if
But
and
we had people in our old car club of just different cultures, but we all enjoyed having our tricked out, souped up cars, or just like the most simple things. You could be in our car club and drive up in a Chrysler LeBaron back in the day, something that was not even that like sporty or anything. And we would just be like, "Cool, you got a car. Join our club. You're good. We accept you." If we were able to accept people
if
the
you're
way
cool and you like my car, we love you.
you
If you
were
don't
so
like my car,
easily
maybe they'll accept you. But
You were so easily accepted back in the day, and everybody respected each other. Everybody cared for each other. We all had each other's backs, no matter what culture you were, no
Old
matter
school
what
love.
race you were,
Old
no matter
school
what your
love.
sex was. It did not matter. The fact that times were so much better back in the day. I mean, yeah, we had a little bit of social media, MySpace, Zanga. I mean, we still even had Facebook. I mean,
AIM.
Exactly, AIM. I mean, that was the best part. You know, you had your sister on AIM, and next you know, you just pick up the phone. I'm kicking your ass off. But
Dong, dong, dong.
oh my god, that sound will never leave my mind. I will tell you that. That dial-up tone will never leave my mind. But it was the fact that if we could just go back into those days and just have that open mentality of accepting everybody the way it was,
Yeah.
this world would be 50 times better than it is now.
Yeah.
It's amazing how only 20 years has changed so dramatic that it's practically scary.
No,
I mean,
I agree.
even during Halloween, a haunted house is not as scary as just even living in this real world. Do you want to be in a haunted house? Go outside your front door. I mean, that's a lot more scary than any haunted house I've ever been in, to be honest.
Yeah, no, to close this out, I would say I 100% agree that anybody who remembers 20 years ago will remember that we didn't have social media and we all just kind of connected and learned to work together. And with social media, we have forgotten how to work together. And social media has created this bridge of
hate.
a bridge of hate.
Yeah.
Of where it's like, I understand this stuff.
Strengthen the hate.
And that's why I say, like, it's the sadness of the ignorance of, like, this wasn't that long ago. So we still don't know what the fuck's going on. We didn't just sit there, wake up and go, hey, we're getting email things that say the world's collapsing because of conspiracies. Left or right, you got to stop and go, it's not all of us telling each other this. We're not all realizing this. What we all realize is that world banks control everything and they're kind of navigating stuff. Like, we know that. We know that because we all see it. But the media is telling us this, and we're all starting to believe this stuff that we're not all seeing. And I would say that is the biggest problem with the social aspect of politics is most of the stuff that we're reacting to isn't stuff we're seeing. It's stuff we're being told.
Right.
It's the threat of this is going to happen. We're going to tell you, even though you don't see this happen, we're going to tell you this is going to happen. So you need to prepare.
There's a puppet master somewhere.
Yes. You need to prepare for what's going to happen. So everybody starts freaking out. And
Time
now
to build your bunkers.
and now but now for real, we see a legitimate two separate sides of people who are like at each other's throats. And it's like, hey, literally half the country is somewhat that's what scares me is even the somewhat ready to fight the other half.
We are closer to modern civil war than I think any situation in history.
And all we need to do is stop and say, hey, let's stop listening.
Hey,
to
politics
who's
to
telling
aside,
us.
man.
Fuck the bullshit.
How about
Yeah.
you ask me what my hobbies are? How about you ask me what kind of person I am? Politics aside, I guarantee you we could become like some of the bestest friends.
100%.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
100%.
saying.
There's so
If
many
everybody
people
would
who...
just ignore the politics these days, life would be so much better.
And I'll
It's
accept whatever,
aggravating, man.
I'll accept whatever shit that you're coming at me with.
Like
Just
I
don't
said-
just don't push. I mean, I'll accept whatever situation that you got going on. Just don't push it on me.
My whole thing
Don't
is...
don't try to make me what you are. Like I am me.
My
you are
whole-
you.
my whole
let's
thing-
be friends and everything's fine.
My whole thing is if I want a night to go well, I can know that we are not going to make common ground. We've had this conversation. You and me are so off. I can see that if we keep going into it, we're going to find fundamental differences. And it's going to be an issue. And I think we both already see that. So let's just end it here. Let's just try to close the gap and just have fun together. We'll both get drunk. We'll just have fun here together and try to find the similarities. Instead, I mean, it's become a thing where it's like, don't try to connect with people. Just assume they're bad. And that's on both sides, across the board, hardcore. When it, like you said back in the day, it's like, I don't even know if my fucking friend is home, but I will walk 3 miles to his house to knock on the door to see if he's available. Nowadays, it's like this weird social thing where it's like, whoa, you let your kid just walk off 3 miles? It's like, I don't know how that's a weird thing now.
I
but
remember
like,
being like 10 years old and going down 7 blocks down
what
my
you
street
do.
going, hey, man, hey, is what's his name available to hang out? No, it's people are
Where's
like,
she
oh,
didn't
Gotta
have
walk
it,
back
yeah.
home.
get on my bike and pedal back. You know,
Yeah, what it
whatever.
comes
Go to the
down-
next buddy's house.
What it comes down to is if you really want to connect with people, if you really want to understand what's going on, first off, don't assume that what you hear is 100% right. And that's on both sides. But I will say, you're going to be a lot better off, left or right. You're going to be a lot better off in an argument if you do not hold your views 100% and allow them to be open. Because that person is open and they refuse to hear your side, you see how things are. You know, it's a give and take. If you're going to give and say, I want to listen to your side, you have to be willing to hear it. You know, the biggest problem right now is people aren't willing to hear that other side. And everybody is so quick to put somebody in a category. Now, I would say the left is a little quicker to put in a category. I think that's kind of fucking obviously known with the Hitler and all this stuff. I don't know what the right calls left people. I couldn't give you an example of a name other than like libtard, I think is the only thing I've heard.
Yeah.
Like literally, but like Nazi, racist, sexist, homophobic, fascist. I've heard everything from the other side except an argument. And what it really comes down to is if you love people and you care about people and you don't care about the argument, then you can't hold the first anything true. You can't say you care about people while not being willing to hear them out.
Hell yeah, man. And that is a great fucking thing to end on, dude.
All right.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for watching, guys. If you are joining us for the first time, please give the channel a follow. We do this podcast every Wednesday. Check out some of our other episodes. And if you're watching this after the fact, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Let us know what you guys think. And
Until then, Meta Perspective out. Meta Perspective Podcast.